This is a bankline grid, a simple but powerful system for finding gold-rich ground fast. Each cell, A1 through C3, marks a precise test location along the bank. In this video, I test A1 to A3, then C1 to C3, and finally B1 to B3. That lets me see exactly where the gold is and draw out a Paystreak. Every result is logged with quadrant and GPS data, giving me a repeatable map of high-yield zones. This method works for beginners and serious prospectors alike. It was made for gold prospecting educational purposes to help train prospectors in locating high-grade ground. If this video does well, I'll make many more like this. So like, subscribe, and let's get this started.
The first thing that I do is draw three sections: A, B, C, A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3. Now I'm going to test each section. I'm going to go to A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, and C3. I'm going to test each one, and I'm going to figure out which spots have the most gold in them. If I can figure that out, I'll figure out if the Paystreak's vertical, or if the Paystreak's horizontal, or if it goes crisscross, so from here to there, here to there. So let's get into the video, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. There's many ways to do this, but this is the way that I choose and has worked for me best. When you're doing test pans, I recommend that you use a bigger pan. If you're a beginner, you might want to use a smaller pan, maybe a 10-inch, but I'd recommend using the biggest pan that you can use just because you're doing test samples. So you want to get as much material as you can in your pan to make sure that you can get an accurate assessment of the location. So let's get into it, and I'm going to show you how I do a grid pattern to find all my gold. I'm starting at A1 right now. I dig down about 6 inches at least.
Gridding Paystreaks beats just test panning because it reveals the full picture. Say you got 3 hours to high bank. You could dig where you found the color, or you could spend 30 minutes gridding to locate the highest gold concentration, then mine the Paystreak for the next 2.5 hours. Same time spent mining, way more gold. That's why even commercial operations use this method, because it works.
Alright, you can see a couple little specks in my pan. 1, 2, 3, and then there's one up there. It's very small. So that is in quadrant A1. Now if I find my Paystreak, then I am going to go down further. When I hit my Paystreak, I'm going down far. But I just want to look for the highest concentration.
Once you finish your grid, always document your results. Mark the Paystreak location directly on your grid and save the GPS coordinates. That way you can come back to that exact spot anytime in the future. But more importantly, by logging the results of multiple grids over time, you'll begin to see patterns in how gold is deposited in that particular creek. Maybe the gold tends to settle near a sharp bend, behind a certain type of rock, or inside of bars. By turning your grids into data points, you're not just mining. You're building a gold map. Over time, that data helps you predict whether other Paystreaks might exist, both upstream and downstream. It's one of the smartest habits any serious prospector can develop.
Alright, that is test pan number 2. See if I can get you a close-up on it. There are 3 flakes. 1, 2, and 3 right there. So that is A2. A1 had about 4 flakes. A2 had about 3 flakes. Alright, I'm starting at A3 now.
In a future video, I'll also be making a video showing how to grid a mid-bar Paystreak. That's when you test across the center of a gravel bar to locate flood deposited gold. This method helps pinpoint gold lines left behind by fast-moving water during high flow events. Leave a comment below if you're interested in this type of gridding.
I always like to go down at least 6 inches, 6 to 8 inches. Sometimes it's hard. There's all these big rocks. Gotta get in there good. All right. All right, so this is from A3. It's got a nice chunk there. It's 2 flakes, but one of those flakes is big. So all through A1, we found some pretty decent gold. I'm gonna move over to C1 next and we'll work our way up. And then we'll work our way up from B1. This is more earthy. Still some cobbles. Some nice cobbles, actually. Some roots. Looks juicy.
Next I'll be covering terrace gridding. That's when you map paystreaks up on ancient riverbeds above the waterline. It's a powerful method for locating untouched gold. If you want to learn that technique, hit the like and subscribe and the notification bell so that you don't miss it.
Not as good as I thought it would be. All right, you can see 2 little flakes right here and right there, and that is out of C1. All right, we're gonna hit C2 now. It's easier to dig right here. Still rocks, just not as many. All right, that's good. It's hard because it's got all that sand in it. I have to fill all this back in.
So there are different ways to grid for gold. Bank line gridding like this, full bar gridding, depth layer grids, even underwater or mainstream gridding. Each method will help narrow down where the richest ground is. In this video, I'm focusing on bank line gridding. But if you want to learn the others, just let me know in the comments below.
All right, so there is 1 flake here and 1 flake right there. All right, I'm gonna hit C3 now. I've been leaving about 1.5 feet of space. Again, this is a small gravel bar, so going down at least 6 inches.
This bankline grid is one of my preferred methods for finding paystreaks. I prefer using a 20 by 20 area most of the time, but this smaller gravel bar was perfect for this demo. I chose it because I already knew there was at least some gold in this location, and if this video does well, I'll cover other types of gridding as well. I wish I'd known this method early on when I first started prospecting. It's helped me hit high grade zones very fast. Quadrant C3 was furthest away from the bank, so I didn't expect to find much gold, and we didn't find anything there.
A lot of big rocks here, and you'll just have to move them out of your way. There's nothing you can really do about it. It's a good sign though. Big rocks, big gold.
Once you finish your grid, always document your results. Mark the paystreak location directly on your grid and save the GPS coordinates. That way you can come back to that exact spot anytime in the future. But more importantly, by logging the results of multiple grids over time, you'll begin to see patterns in how gold is deposited in that particular tree. Maybe the gold tends to settle near a sharp bend behind certain types of rocks or inside of bars. By turning your grids into data points, you're not just mining, you're building a gold map. Over time, that data helps you predict whether other paystreaks might exist, both upstream and downstream. It's one of the smartest habits any serious prospector can develop.
right there in front of my finger is a thin little piece of gold, and that is in B1. All right, 2 more sections and we'll be done. And we will figure out our Paystreak. So far, it's definitely been in a straight line right here across the bank. And you would think that that's the obvious place, but it's not always the case. I've had many times where it actually goes this way. We're about to figure out. I only had 2 flakes out of there. So we're getting ready to figure it out. We'll see. All right, that is good right there. Good bit of quartz.
Underwater gridding works just like on land, but you're testing submerged areas where gold settles in crevices and deep pools. It's one of the most overlooked, high-yield methods out there.
We've got one there, it fell down there on me, and one right there. So that was a good pan actually, and a little bit of a bigger piece. So it definitely in A3, B2, and C1, we've got good gold. And then A1, A2, and A3, we also have good gold. All right, now I'm gonna hit right here. Ideally, if this was a bigger bank, I would space them further apart. I'd probably leave about 2 to 3 feet in between each one. But this is good right here because this bank's not really that big. And I always try to stay close to the creek. Like, I'm not going all the way up there. Now, I'm not saying there couldn't be good gold up there, but most of the time it's closer to the bank right here. One.
Gridding isn't just a technique. It turns guesswork into data. Whether you're running a sluice, a dredge, or even test panning, learning to grid lets you work smarter. It's how serious prospectors find consistent gold, and why it should be part of every prospector's toolkit. Quadrant B3 also contained no gold.
In today's video, we figured out the best Paystreak would be right there in A1 to A3 or diagonal from A3 to B2 to C1. That's just because we found more gold in these locations. There was some gold in B1, but it was light. So I'm always gonna go after whichever deposits have the most gold. That's how you find a Paystreak whenever you do a grid pattern. If you could please smash the like and subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way you get notified for more videos like this. And thank you for watching to the end.